Hello, friends, and welcome. Let's start our satsang off today with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great gurus, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Layadi Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru Dev, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow before thee. Bless our satsang as we open our hearts, souls, and minds to thee. Bring us within thy consciousness, uplift us into thy vibrations. We are thy children, seeking our home in thee. Bless us now and always. Om Shanti, Shanti. The blessing of spiritual family is the topic for today. And we'll start with the song and then a wonderful excerpt from a talk by Swamiji on that same topic. Welcome again to everyone.
Lord Most High, our Heavenly Father, all our lives we dedicate to Thee. All our labors, all our joys and woes, all our pleasure, all our melody. Make us each a channel of Thy peace. When in darkness, guide us from above. Where there's sorrow, may we sow Thy joy. Where there's hatred, may we share Thy love. Lord Most High, our Heavenly Father, all our lives we dedicate to Thee. All our labors, all our joys and woes, all our pleasure, all our melody. Make us each a channel of Thy peace. When in darkness, guide us from above. Where there's sorrow, may we sow Thy joy. Where there's hatred, may we share Thy love.
And when I read Autobiography of a Yogi, Divine Mother really helped me out. I must say it was a piece of good karma, because I suppose it would have been difficult. It might even have been impossible to sort of battle the sneers of my relatives if I had read Autobiography of a Yogi with them around. At any rate, it worked out absolutely perfectly. As you know from reading The Path, those of you who have read it, my father was posted to Cairo, Egypt, and I packed my mother up and put her on the boat in the morning. The very afternoon of that same day that I put Mother on the boat was when I discovered Autobiography of a Yogi. So I was completely free. There was nothing they could do. It was a real bombshell when they discovered what I'd done. But there they were in Cairo, and this wasn't the day of quick flights. And so, at any rate, I read that book, and it was so thrilling to me, because suddenly I felt that here is someone to whom I belong. I had never had that feeling before. I never felt a real sense that this person is mine, or this group of people is mine. And when I took that bus, it was, I think, the next day that I took took the bus and came nonstop across the country, 4 days and 4 nights, and met Yogananda, and with God's grace he accepted me. And I remember that the first months living at Mount Washington, there was this constant sort of, as if you'd been a wanderer in the desert, getting more and more desperate in your thirst, and finally came upon an oasis. This is how I felt, living there among people who I recognized as mine. They were all mine. It wasn't just Yogananda, it was a family that I didn't need to build a sense of kinship with them, as you have to do usually in the world. And people come up with all sorts of extraneous reasons for being in tune. I mean, you meet a fellow Dodger fan and suddenly you're drinking buddies, and you join fan clubs and all sorts of things that people will do to create a sense of kinship, but it's all sort of false. But sometimes, and this is how I felt there, that suddenly these were my people. I realized that life had finally, and for the first time really, become meaningful and joyful for me. I laughed all the time those days, because it was such a joy just being there. And this is what I have found in this community here too, that many people have come and suddenly just known, I'm home. These are my people. How do we know it? I think that in our case here at Ananda, that we were in the astral world together and we decided that, or we were told to, whichever, but we knew that it was our job to start a community together. And I had to come in a generation ahead of most of you to get the experience to make it possible. But it's such a marvelous thing to be with people that you feel completely comfortable with. This is spiritual family, and to me it's the only family worth talking about.
Welcome again, everyone. I'd like to start with a reading from this book today, The New Path, My Life with Paramahansa Yogananda. Swamiji is saying here, the stronger the family, spiritually speaking, the greater its attractive pull on new souls that may still be wandering in search of an identity of their own. A family evolves with its individual members. At last, it too becomes a star in the firmament of humanity and begins to produce great souls of self-realization. As spiritual stars, such great families become powerful for the general upliftment of mankind. Like stars too, they then draw planets of less evolved families into their beneficial auras, vitalizing them with rays of divine truth. Such families are like mighty nations. To them is given the real task of guiding the human race, not in the way of governments by official ordinances, but by subtler spiritual influence. Yogananda's is one such spiritual family. His forms part of a greater spiritual nation of which Jesus Christ and Sri Krishna, in this age Babaji, are also leaders. Yogananda, like William the Conqueror at Hastings, came to America to establish a beachhead, not in this case of worldly conquest, but of divine communion. Many have been born and are being born in the West to assist him in this mission. Many others are being attracted to it for the first time by the radiant magnetic influence, the spiritual gravitational field it has created. When we think of spiritual family, we think, oh, someone's going to hold our hand and make us feel good all the time, and we won't have to put out any efforts, and there'll be rose petals on our path, and all of this, but spiritual family is powerful. It's dynamic. There's a lot of Shakti flowing through your guru bhais, through the guru, through God, through the masters. And it's a path of guidance and direction, a path of inspiration, a path of knowing, a path of doing, a path of seva, a path of giving up, a path of non-attachment. It's a path of really seeking God. And spiritual family is there to help us to push forward out of the delusions and the wrong attitudes and the wrong behaviors that we have. You see, someone is having the right attitude and you go, oh yeah, I want to model that. You see someone is having more energy than you. Oh yeah, I want to do that. Or someone's more magnetic, or they're meditating more, or they're serving more, and it gives you inspiration. You need examples all around you. And we think our physical family is all that there is, but the spiritual family is they're very deep bonds that have been there who knows how many lifetimes. As Swamiji said, that we've been together probably many, many lifetimes with this work, this mission of Paramahansa Yogananda. And one person living in the city meditating, it's one nice person meditating, they don't have as much power and influence as a group at a center or a meditation group or in a community or a colony or at a retreat together. And we've all felt that as we come together, there's a stronger magnetism and energy, and the power of God and gurus flows through us. You meditate better, you chant better, you can sit longer in meditation, and you leave there feeling different. Now, how did that happen? It wasn't just you and your good karma. It was everybody's energy together, building, and you draw from the magnetism of your guru bhais. Not even to speak of the magnetism of the gurus. I mean, that's our spiritual family more than anybody. Is Babaji and Lahiri Mahashayaji and all of our masters, Krishna. This is the spiritual family. I remember when I met part of it, and of course our guru bhais, when I met Swamiji, he said, this is your home. You should think about living here. And I saw him as my spiritual father. It wasn't a man, a yogi teaching. I said, I want you to train me. I came here for training. I came here for guidance. I came here to be a part of this family. And so we need to change that concept of it's cuddly and it's sweet and it's a lot of power behind spiritual family. And I remember I was visiting some of my relatives recently since I've been in America, and my little nephew, he was like 3 years old or something last time I saw him, at least maybe 3 or 4. So I said to him, he said, I went into my brother's house. He says, no, now who are you? He's 8 now. He says, now who are you? I said, well, I'm your Aunt Dhyana. And he says, I mean, he didn't know me from Adam. And so then I said, when I was getting ready to leave, I said, now you're not going to forget me. Or you remember, I'm Aunt Dhyana. You won't forget me now. And he says, no, I won't forget you. And then he looked up. He says, no, what's your name again? I mean, I meant nothing to him, really. And we think, our relatives love us so much, and it's so much a part of our heart. And Master says some interesting things about relatives I won't get into right now. But anyway, our spiritual family is here to really, really help us to be energized in our goal and our intention to move forward on the spiritual path. And I recall when I first came into these teachings, I didn't know one person. I didn't know nobody that meditated. Where I live, nobody was meditating. I learned through the written word, but I didn't know one soul who meditated. I didn't know anybody who energized. I just didn't know anybody. I mean, I knew nothing about yoga or reincarnation or karma. I was just at sea. And I was so in my heart. I could feel my family. Where's my family? I know there are people out there. I think that was just samskars or the call of master, but I just felt this. I know there's people. Where are they? And I couldn't find them. And then I struggled along for some time, just barely energizing. I remember when I met Swamiji, he looked at me and said, "Do you energize?" And he could tell I didn't energize. But coming there, I started energizing really well. But I just knew there were people like me somewhere. And that went on for years, struggling to do Hong Sa and the Om technique and Kriya barely. And I just wasn't getting really anywhere because I didn't have any support. I didn't have any people around me who were examples of 30, 40, 50 years of energizing, of doing Kriya, of having the right attitude, having the right behavior, of serving selflessly. I didn't have any models. And then someone, by God's grace and Guru's grace, someone told me about Ananda, and I came to Ananda and I looked around and I just thought, this is my family. I've been looking. I kept wondering before, where's my family? And I saw Jyotishan Devi, I saw Jayaji, all the people who had been here way before me. And I just went, I know these people. And then I came and I lived here, and then my meditation practice just took off. My spiritual life took off. My seva, it took off. My attitudes, they took off in the right way. My behavior, everything just, wow. Why? Because I had the blessings, the grace, the power, the help, the support, the love, and you can even say the protection of the divine spiritual family. And came to India, I didn't know one person there. I knew all the Americans, but I didn't know anybody. And I just thought, God, this is going to be interesting. I don't know one Indian. And then someone asked me to give a class. I was there only 2 days. And I said, gee, I just got off the plane. There must be somebody else. And I said, no, there's nobody else. And I know that was Master calling me. I went to the class and I looked around and I just felt, I know some of these people. It's not a psychic thing. It's something you feel in your heart or from the vibration or from the eyes or whatever. And ever since then, I've been there 20 years now, practically. Ever since then, I've met family and friends every day, practically. And that's the spiritual family. They come. I didn't know anybody, and Master sent all my friends. I was so grateful to all of you who I've known all of these years and help you to integrate into India. Just like when Master went to America, he didn't know anybody, but then he met Dr. Lewis, one friend after another friend, and more and more people embraced him. And then he had large audiences, and sometimes he saw a family member in the audience, and the man said, "You seem like you were looking at me the whole time." And Master said, "Yes, I was." And so he could see, he knew, he was drawing. This is the point. He's drawing us. Who's drawn us? He's drawing us. The Guru's saying, this is your family. This is where you will make progress. You can try to step out. Maybe it is for you to step out, but for most of us, it's to step in more. And so anywhere you go with Ananda, you can, any country, it'll be any language, any background that people have, any Ananda community, colony, center, meditation group, retreat, anywhere you go, you find the spiritual family, and you're just welcome. It doesn't even matter if you don't know the language. You can go to Italy and you don't speak Italian, but you'll be welcome. You can go anywhere. You can go to Australia. You can go to South Africa. These days you can go anywhere, but it's your spiritual family. Now, who's the father? Who's the mother? It's Divine Mother. Divine Mother is welcoming us wherever we go. And that means a responsibility. It's not just, oh, I just sit here and everybody gives me everything. It's like you owe it to God and gurus and to your family to give back, and give back of energy, give back of joy, give back of love, give back of selfless service, give back. How can I serve? How can I help others? And these are the main ways that you learn, the main ways that spiritual family helps you. Is one is seva. You have an opportunity to get out of yourself. Wow. If you're just home meditating alone, you can really I mean, you can have some wrong thoughts and behaviors and attitudes. But if you are there and you're asked to do something, and our path is meditation and service. It's both, Master said, go hand in hand. So you're asked to do something, you immediately come out. You come out of yourself. Oh, I want to go and I want to bring prasad. Okay, I want to go and set up the altar. I'm going to bring something that's needed for the center. I'm going to do the healing prayers. I'm going to call people for the class. I'm going to take a book and give it to one of my friends. You see what I'm saying? You're coming out to serve the spiritual family, and the greater spiritual family is anybody who Master sends you to. Honestly, it could be somebody at your job and you see they're kind of down and sad. And, I see so many people here at the Ananda village. As you know, it's the tulip time. And I try to talk to everybody I can. Just, how are you? How's your family? Oh, so nice. Are you having a good time? Now, what is that? It's natural, but it's just giving instead of, oh, I wish these people would leave. It's been 5 weeks or whatever, but just think of others. So spiritual family means thinking of your family. Somebody's in the hospital, you help their family, you take them something, you take care of their kids, whatever it is. Somebody just couples gotten married, so you help them to have a nice vacation together, or you take on their seva duties, or you're a spiritual family. There's countless things to do. I mean, always, every day, a long list of ways you can help other people. Just praying for people is a huge thing. And so that's one way spiritual family helps. Another is, I've said this a little bit, I want to say it more strongly, is the techniques. Now, I've seen some pretty strange energizing at different times, but if you are with the group, you watch and the leader's there showing you, and you can correct yourself. If you're just doing that on your own, and that's only energization, think of Hong San, Om, and Kriya. So you need the other people to come check you. Family, they check you. No, that's not right. Let's review this. Let's have Q&A, questions and answers. Let's go over it. Boy, that is the biggest help, because if you think you're going to go on alone and you got it down already, it's so subtle, these techniques and practices. You need the help of others, and you need the inspiration. You don't feel like energizing. Your friend gets up and starts energizing. You said, okay, he's doing, I'll do it. Isn't it? So you don't feel like meditating. Your friend says, let's go meditate. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. He says, okay, come on, let's go. Okay, I'll do it. Isn't that true? And you feel kind of down. Let's go to the kirtan at the center. Rah, rah, rah. And then you say, okay, let's go. Isn't it? I mean, Guru, I can say, I don't know if I would still be here without Guru Bhais, people who have peers who have just really helped me in times of need, difficult times, good times, bad times, whatever. And especially I'm saying the techniques, and then also with seva. And finally, the last one is, if you can, you have examples of people like we had Swamiji, you'd watch him. You couldn't get in a mood. You couldn't go down with your energy. He'd have you going. But you need examples. I mean, you've been on the path a year and you don't know anybody else. You're looking around, there's no example. You need people who've been around, not just the example, but the counsel, the guidance, the direction. But think of somebody who's been meditating 30 years, you on year number 2. Somebody's meditated for 45 years and served and been a disciple and been a Kriya about 50 years, over 50 years. Spiritual family gives you that in your face. It's not like, oh, well, I hope I get to see the guru at some point. It's like that person is right there. They're serving with you. They're energizing with you. They're meditating with you. They're helping you. And that's a huge, huge, huge boon. I think people don't realize. But I remember, and I'll end with this, one time I was going, thank God it was at the beginning, but I thought, well, I can just go on alone. Boy, did I have trouble. I left Ananda. I went off by myself. And I said, well, I've got everything I need now, don't I? I don't need anybody else. Straight down. and it took me 3 years to pick back up. So it's no joke. You need people around you. You need the guidance. You need the examples. You need the help. You need their magnetism. You need their energy. You need to listen to other people who've been around. And as you do that, you find that your path gets much easier, much more direct. And you find that spiritual family, I would say, it's one of the greatest gifts we have on the path. So God bless you all. And I'll ask Natindra to join now. We have a couple of questions.
Thank you so much, Dhanaji. Yes, we have 3 questions. The
Okay.
first one, Dhanaji, is most of us stay in cities and only meet our spiritual family over weekends. So, what's the best way to remain in that vibration even during the week?
I mean, really, you can meet your spiritual family every day online. I mean, there's always something going on, isn't there? I mean, you can go on YouTube. There's a gazillion Swamiji talks, Jyotishan Devi talks, Mumbai, Gurgaon, these talks, Jayaji. I mean, there's no excuse, honestly. I mean, you can have 24-hour satsang. 24 hours. You go on YouTube, you can get the talks by Swamiji, and this in the books. You can read the books. That's satsang. You can listen to the music, get on a harmonium and chant. So there's so many ways. And I remember one wonderful time with Kamala Silva lived here at Ananda Village, and we were chanting for her, Door of My Heart. And she was very elderly at the time. So she said, oh, stop. That chant would draw master. So you chant, you're getting the spiritual families. Who knows how many of the gurus are coming to chant with you? Isn't it so? And so even that, there's really no reason. There's so many ways to be able to bring your spiritual family with you together, isn't it?
Absolutely, Dhanaji. Thank you. The next question, Dhanaji, is why did Master say that his disciples come first before the biological family in terms of getting spiritual blessings from our gurus?
I mean, in my mind, it's because they're wide open, the disciples, the family. I mean, think of Ananta, think of his brother-in-law, that heart of a stone image in that chapter. Some of the relatives were not very open, to say the least. So if the disciples are open, I mean, who's going to receive the most? And he's responsible for the disciples. It's a very interesting question. Now, is he responsible for his biological family? Probably on some level, but he's completely responsible for the disciples. If the disciple is completely open to the guru, isn't it so? If the disciples shut down, like he said to one disciple, if you shut the door, how can I come in? So I think a family member, like I believe that anyone who's meditating and sending prayers to your family, I believe your family gets help. I certainly know I couldn't be in India if my family was all in the hospital. None of my family's been ill since I've been in India. Now, who's taking care of them? Master. So I think it's subtle, but whoever's open, and then through the vehicle of the disciple, you can also ask for prayers. I'm sure you ask for prayers for your family. And I certainly ask for prayers for mine. So I think it extends, but the openness and receptivity, here's another word, the attunement. It has to be there, no? You can't just say he's giving blessings to everybody. It depends on who's open, who's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dhanaji. The last one, you did touch a bit upon it, but can you elaborate that since we get so much by being in a spiritual family, then what are our responsibilities to ensure that we give back to this family as well?
Would you not give your life to Master? Yeah, I certainly would. And, there's the discipleship vow we take. It's a vow that I will give. And, that's basically, we have a Kriya Bond vow. It's all about self-offering and giving. And so I think that if we we have to give back. I mean, how can you receive if you're not giving? So it's the responsibility of the family member. Just like if you're your regular family, you don't just take, you give to your mother, father, brothers, sisters, no? And so in the spiritual family, I mean, we receive so much. How could a person not want to give? I mean, I just feel like it's just pouring down from, I mean, I've been here 5 weeks. I'm just full. I'm full up. That's why I'm coming back. Full up with the love of all my Guru Bhais and friends and the blessings and the grace and the healing vibrations and the good intentions and I mean, we at Ananda are full up. And so if you're that full and you're not giving anything, that's a problem. I would say that's the wrong attitudes. You can't help but give back. So I see you all in Gurgaon just giving all the time, coming, more and more people coming for classes, more and more prasad needed, more and more flowers needed, more and more yoga mats or whatever. I just see people just constantly giving. Why? I'll tell you one reason, the example of giving. If somebody's there who's showing that example, other people will say, oh, okay, I remember that. I want to give too. So if we're examples of that, then people will say, all right, I get it now. Yeah. I will close with this, but at the beginning, of Ananda India, different ones of us, Jayaji, different ones, Dharmadasti, we'd go around and teach the classes and we did whatever there was to do. And I remember I was part of a panel and this elderly man, afterwards we had to pack up the books, pack the truck and, leave. It was like, there was no other helpers. And he says, no, Dhyanaji, I just know you gave a wonderful talk there. I just know you're not going to be packing that truck. And I said, just watch me. We were all just so joyfully doing it. He was part of the family, but he didn't want to do it until he saw us. Then he said, oh, I'll help you. You see the difference? Oh, I'll help you. That's family as an example. Oh, he's doing it. I'll do it too. Okay. Thank you, Natendra. God bless you all. Bye-bye. I'll see you soon in India. Bye.
Looking forward to welcome you, Dhyanaji.
Thank you.